I'm going to be building my IRL branded deck profile today for Burst Protocol. You might be like, my game's GX. Did Konami sponsor you and send you all the branded cards you needed? I wish. I wish. But, and it's like, did you rob Konami headquarters? And it's like, no, I don't have early access of cards, and that is against policy, so do not do that. Wait until the official release date. But I do have, if you saw on Discord, these proxies. So we get to do IRL test hands and actually build the deck and get ready so we can just plug and play the deck, right? I think Brand is going to be an extremely good call for these events because it's very under radar. We've talked about this before, but Ido is something that I think like actually ends up being something that saves you in the Draco Town matchup way more often than not, and it's really good into Mitsurugi as well. Just because these cards have really good power spells and like ritual summons or fusion summons effects that like if you don't answer them, it's hard for you to like they can start breaking your board with engines. So I mean, just having that Ido to like either force them to use their interruptions to out it, right, force them to use a droplet inopportunely, or even Draco Town in the sense of like going Fav on that where I can just summon enough monsters in my zone so like Ido's not going to resummon in my end phase, or I'm going to have my own Fav to like the Ido resummon is honestly like fine, especially when you have like things like branded opening. So like I'm not worried about Fav because like Droplet is also something that is just like it's the same kind of situation, you know, and I don't think people are running 3 Droplet, 3 Fav, so it's not like the dynamics really changed. Do you think branded hero would work? Especially with the new hero monster, yes. Whatever, Neo Shining Flare Wingman, the one that's coming out with the full art. That card's a generic fusion that you can, or hero you can just make in your branded deck. If there's a way to make that and then like link into a fucking... But the thing is though, are all the heroes level 8 fusions? If all the heroes are level 8 fusions, that's fucking crazy with Wallbaz. Like, you should probably be running Wallbaz in that deck, honestly, at that point. Do you think white will be like a 20 to 30 card in Ecclesia 3 to 5? I mean, I think Ecclesia, if it's an ultra, will be like a $10 card. It'll be kind of just like... But no, I mean, like, I think Wallbaz, even if it's an ultra, it will fetch like minimum $40. I think the card will be minimum $40, and like Konami's not stupid. They need to sell the set. They need to let their shops like actually survive. So like the card's going to be a secret. I wouldn't doubt if Ecclesia of the Dark would just be an ultra just for a freebie, right? Because it's a one of, so it doesn't really matter to be a secret. But I would take it as a secret slot. But no, this card's going to be like probably minimum $40, and if it's a secret, it will probably go... Since there's already so much hype behind it, and the thing is though, the hype is going to die down a few weeks into it, like a month or two, because people are going to still realize that Yummy is good, and obviously we have a ban list, so like it depends on what happens. But what's happening in the OCG right now is these cards' usage are going down, because they still have full power Mitsurugi, and so do we. So, and I don't think Mitsu is going to get hit on the next list, frankly, just because we have the structure deck coming out. So these cards are insanely hyped at the beginning, but if you're looking to like, if you're not in a rush, you could wait a month or two and these cards will be way cheaper. Like, I think they will be, like, they might have a chance of going, like, if it's an ultra, they'll be like 30s or something. But if they're a secret, I think like they'll probably stay at least 40. Just because it's going to sell the set. There's no other card in the set that actually, besides like the Elven Notes stuff. And between you and me, without Baron, I don't think Elven Notes is doing what they're doing, even in the OCG, which is not already that much. I mean, I love Elven Notes, actually. It's like my favorite Medius archetype, and I might want to play the deck. I'm just like... It's just kind of another Mannadium, in my opinion. Until a ban list happens. That changes the... I mean, I think it's like literally like probably the next best like waiting deck, though, if something changes. Where are the Thunderbolts for? Dogmatica branded? You can search this off at Titanclad, and it's a good hand trap. Like, a lot of the time in branded, you don't actually need to summon. or you don't need to summon from the extra deck to play the game, especially when you have like breakers like Evenly and Super Poly and like Droplet and Fav. So like I've been testing this in Genesis format where I'm actually maining 3 of these, and I want to test this in Modern as well. I'm right now siding one of these plus a punishment because like having this, because this gets you to Quem plus the Gwignol will get you to Quem. So like off my Titanclad, frankly, this is like a better search than just like getting the Quem a lot of the time if I'm running it. Obviously it's not, I mean, it's a great card going second, honestly. And the thing is though, guys, Fall of the White Dragon sets up Ecclesia, right? You go Fall of the White Dragon and then you summon out Ecclesia. And let's just say you have the Thunderbolt out and you popped one of your opponent's monsters, but you also have like an Albion, right? Or something, right? Because you sent it off of Punishment. So like Punishment already builds you a board, right? And if you break your opponent's board without having to go into the extra deck, which is possible, especially when you're going Thunderbolt, like the theory is Thunderbolt useful enough to stop your opponent to make it so like it's okay to lock yourself. And I think with Branded having cards like High Spirits, Nadir Servant, you know, Ultimate Slayer, even in theory, like if you ran then, I'm running that in Modern or Genesis format because I think it's actually a really good card there. But I do think, don't worry, I'm gonna look at chats too. I completely neglected chats this whole time. It's just like, I think this card actually has a lot of potential. I think playing Draco Tal branded YCS Dortmund, this deck is fire. That's the thing, I still think Draco Tal branded will be probably the best version, at least until a ban list hits. I've heard some people say, like, and this is no offense, but I've heard multiple people say, like, this card's better for Draco Tal branded, and I kind of disagree, but like also what it does is it like it makes up for like the Ketu slots, right? Like if it goes to 1. Like that, like it's really a glorified Cartesia engine and then a way to like run multiple Albaz to make like the engine cleaner and then, you know, stuff like that. So I still think this card's just absolutely insane for the pure version, but I need to get to deck building. So thing is like Branded Fusion's still at 1 in the OCG, so like I don't even, and they did not change that on their last ban list with the new branded support. Like I don't think they're, I think the TCG is almost regretting bringing Branded Fusion back to 2, but like just because of, like it was like such a like a power buff for like Draco Tal out of nowhere. Now talk about cards that are better for other decks. Like 2 Branded Fusion and Draco Tal was actually somehow better than it was for Branded Despia. All right. Oh, we're just plopping all of our cards everywhere. I'm guessing the next list is after YCS in February. What's up, Justin? Yeah, I'd assume it's probably after the YCSs. Like, I don't know. Unless we get... I said the other week, like, unless we get a ban list, like... Or sorry, yeah, unless we get a ban list in the next couple weeks, I don't think it's happening. Until, like, until, like, a bit. Okay, so... Here's some main deck engine, right? I'm choosing to run Perulia, I think, this time around. Also, Ash is, like, standard in, like, every deck at this point, right? Even Branded at this... I think you should definitely be running Ash in Branded at this point. It hits, like, the ability to hit Fuelos. Also, it's just great into Draco Tal anyway, so it's just, like, in my opinion, it's just a very strong card. But if you guys want to have a differing opinion, let me know, of course. Yo, what's up, Alex D? How's everyone's Friday going? It is going very well, Alex. It's going even better now that you're here, my king. Okay. So these Thunderbolts I'm going to put to the side, or put them to the side there, but I do think I'm going to end up running the Thunderbolts anyways. I'm going to, like, put this over here. Here, let me go grab my light, too. There we go. There she blows. Horus Engine. That's just like my generic staple pile. But yeah, you can run the Horus Engine in Branded. I actually talk about that in my upcoming Branded guide. because you can run it as a zombie vampire engine to in just like a grind game, right? So like you can get to zombie vampire and bridge into your branded engine that way. You never know, the pure version may be just as good in the TCG, different format. I mean, yeah, I was just talking to this with a better branded player than me, and he was saying like OCG almost feels like a fake format because a lot of the time it's a best of one. So for implications for our format, it's like quote unquote fake, right? Like we should not be taking too seriously best of one format decks, but also at the same time, like it does, in my opinion, at least give you like a skeleton of what people are doing, which is useful. So 2 fall in the white plus an OG Albaz, guys. We're retiring the other Albazes. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Okay, so we'll put engine up here, like non-engine here, and start like moving things around as we go through it. But we got the Charmies, of course. Choosing to run 3 Perulia, 3 Fuelos at the moment. I think these cards are just absurd. Just giving yourself the draw power is just very good. It also kind of makes up for like what the OCG does with like multiple max, or I guess they only have 1 max C now, but just like having more power cards is pretty good. I think this Perulia could be at 2, frankly, or even 1. But I felt like having the Charmies there like just helped my going second with the ratios. Like having 3 rather than 2 was like fine. And currently at like 44 cards, but so I could like cut 2 and get to 42, right? I forgot to make the kit proxy. Oh no. You can't forget the kit proxy. You can't forget the kit proxy. Okay, we're just gonna run kit. Like, we're just, like, fuck it. We ball, right? Alright, so, got the non-engine. I'm just gonna put the non-engine in a pile. It's kind of boring, right? Do we want to run Lubellion? At the moment, I'm not. But it is a very good card. But I want to, like, cut the brick, frankly. So I'm gonna cut Lubellion. I think I'm gonna run a Sarnier because I'm gonna still run Branded Retribution. I think Branded Retribution having that line... it's pretty good. I could even see myself running a Shrouded, but this card doesn't feel necessary. Like, you can have Quem connect with the Sarnier just as easily, especially when you have Ecclesia and the Black Dragon, and the Dark Dragon. So I don't think this card's actually necessary anymore unless you really want to run it. And also, I'm still on a Stellar. Where did I put my Starlight Stellar? Oh yeah, it's in here. I have my Starlight Stellar around here, so I'm just gonna put this as a safekeeping until we get there. But also 1 or 2 Cartesia, I think we're gonna be running as well. I like the 2 Cartesia post-burst protocol because of the fact that it allows you to not just lose to your Cartesia getting bestialed, right? So this is what we are going to be running. Here, I'm just gonna remove this in the fucking corner. Will they reprint Sanctifier? God, no. Unless they're about to fucking... I mean, they do have to get reprint equity, so I feel like they will the moment they decide they want to ban it. Also, Ido, like I explained before, I think you just need an answer for the mirror match, and this is frankly what I like. Obviously, Fav can get there. I still feel like this card is, like, only outed essentially by having Called By in rotation, like, because you should be able to layer this either and make it really hard to play around your other interruptions, or this is just like God tier under Fuwa, which is relevant against most decks. So, you know, I could run the Lad line. It is what it is. A Stellar also, we'll talk about that more, but a Stellar has been my favorite little Tekken branded for a minute now. 1 Quem? Do we... Okay, so guys, do we use... Okay, you guys gotta let me know. Do we use the misprint Quem? This has actually been one of my biggest... My biggest... just dilemmas as a branded player. With having to, like, you know, cut... Because I don't think 2 Quem is really that necessary anymore, because Ecclesia the Black and the Dark Dragon This card literally says revive any monster that mentions Fallen of Albaz that's level 4 or lower. So now this card going to the graveyard is just fine because you can just revive it. So you only really need one anymore, in my opinion. You could run two, but I think it's like really like, and maybe that's gonna end up being wrong, and in like 6 months we're all running two. We all decide that 2 Quem is still worth it, but like as of right now, I think like this is something that we can test with pretty handily, just the 1 Quem. But which Quem do we use? Do we use the Spanish Latina Quem Starlight? This thing's like actually like the Starlight on this is crazy. I like this way more than the QCR. I own the QCR, just like I would never use over this or my misprint Quem, which is like very special to me because I literally found it at a binder at like YCS Anaheim, I think. And I just like gave the guy $20. I'm like, here, take my money. This is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm actually kind of it probably has to be the Starlight, but misprint because it's a distraction against your opponents. Oh my gosh. Well, also the Starlight like what could blind my opponent. Look at that. Look at that. I could blind a dude. I'm just like blind. Anyways, Quem, and then they're stunned and then they can't do anything. Lost should always be in branded. Hot take from Sonic Rage right there. I mean, I relatively agree, but I also think I've tested this deck a lot, and a lot of the time, I'm just like, I'm losing games because I'm drawing cards like Lost, essentially, because the deck is so hyper consistent that like the card almost slows down the deck. Like your deck is so good with, like you can play lower to the ground. I think like honestly, the more you know the ins and outs of just like the technical, like what goes into like using a Mirror Jade to like wipe a board and like, you know, because branded already like offers a lot of like tools. I'm seeing a lot of people cut branded in red for that instance. Like I'm seeing people cut branded Lost, like I'm seeing people cut Retribution, Shrouded, like give or take, right? Like you in my opinion, you still run some of the bricks, right? And that's what's going to be on you guys. Like you guys decide, what do I value in my branded deck going forward? Branded Lost, or do I want, you know, more consistency? I still think branded Lost going second is just like auto win into some decks, but the thing is, I just want to use this line, guys. Like this synchro line is just still it's just too insane. Like I don't necessarily want to resolve branded fusion. A lot of the time it feels like, obviously I do, and I will, because I will play through interruptions, and that's the beauty of the support. But ideally, if there are no hand traps, I'm just shoving this Ecclesia down my opponent's throat, because it's just like, this thing generates infinite in our deck in particular, right? Because we have so many different targets. So this just like ends up getting you, this makes a board on your own, right? You summon Cartesia on your turn, Quem on your opponent's turn, right? Like you can just make a board on its own, right? This card's just absolutely insane. So it just, in my opinion, invalid. It makes it so you don't need to run some of these bricks anymore, because the deck is so like, it works so well. Like the deck finally, I said this when the support first came out, but the support makes the deck feel complete finally, right? Like it always felt like we had synchro lines, but there was no good synchros, right? For our deck, and then we got it. I'm bringing Buster Blader branded soon. Yo, let's go. Is Perillia good against Yummy? It's fine against Yummy. It will usually get a couple draws, right? Especially pure Yummy. It gets you like 3 draws if they don't want a full combo, or if they want to go full combo. But this card's insane against Radiant Typhoon. It also like gets a couple draws depending on the deck, right? So it's pretty just like much like a way to try to make your opponent play weaker and then also get card advantage. Like a +1 is always worth it, right? It's a way to like, if you pair it with Fulos, it's insane, right? So it's just another really good card in my opinion. Went to a game store today and was able to got some Stampede, pulled all our raid. Let's go, Battle Ram. That's huge. That's like a several $100 card. Let's go. Let's go. Alexia, how's everyone's day going? Don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe. I do appreciate that. About to go get me some wings. Let's fucking go. What kind of wings? Genuine question. Why are you playing 3 opening if the best combos in the deck need Ecclesia Synchro? Would you not be better to play Nadir? I mean, you could play Nadir, but I think opening pairs really well in the end phase. You can just like use this card in the end phase after you've synchro summoned. Like that's what a lot of people have been doing. And then if not, it's like, let's just say you don't open way to synchro and you just open branded loss or branded opening plus like 3 hand traps, right? It's like, oh, look, it's a starter, right? I can still go branded fusion, right? That's like what I'm going to get into with my like 40-hour guide, guys. Just the fact that branded is now going to be a deck where you really have to juggle the synchro and the fusion side. Like you are going to do both. And it's okay to run 2 branded fusion. I think it's actually optimal to run 3 branded or 2 branded fusion. You would run 3 if you could, honestly, because the card says go full combo. And you know, sometimes in Snake Eye you use Snake Eye Ash to get to your combo, or you would use Diabell Star to get to your combo. But like, it's, I mean, obviously it's apples to oranges because one locks you, I guess, technically, but they both get you to your end board, right? Most of the time. I think the Ecclesia Synchro just does it way better, but this card's insane going second as well, and it's insane through hand trap. Like, you guys will see on these test hands that we end up doing, and then also in the guide, in many of the videos we've already seen, like, you bait your interruptions with Fallen of the White Dragon, right? Like, you go Fallen of the White, because this card's more easy interactable with this card, and you don't lock yourself until you make the Ecclesia, which, so that means you have to check them, right? Like, you can go Fallen of the White, okay, so they have to have Ash, and this already sent a card to the extra deck to the graveyard, so if they Ash this, okay, then you go Branded Fusion, right? Like, like you would still want, like, if you didn't run Branded Fusion, you wouldn't have that line, right? So that's why I'm just trying to show you guys why Branded Fusion is still very important. That's why Branded Opening, by extension, it's just another way to Branded Fusion, and it's also a combo piece, right? It's also an important graveyard effect, frankly. Like, I can't see myself running Branded without at least one opening, because this graveyard effect will save your ass so much. Like, if you've played Branded for any extended period of time, you will know you can win games off that graveyard effect. So, I'm also probably just going to run the Called By, I don't know. I've also debated on running the Radiant Typhoon Vision, but I think I need to do that more of a board breaker version. I'm just very set on running hand traps at the moment in Branded. We can get into that why, like, I've already explained this, but I know some people aren't familiar sometimes. I'm also on one opening. I was also testing one opening at one point. Like, it's fine. Totally fine, totally fine. I still think the card's insane, and I felt like I was not as consistent. My deck lacked consistency without reopening. I think if you run the Nadir, you're probably just fine at that point, but I think opening is a more proactive card on some level. But like I said before, you can break opponents' boards without going into the extra deck, and Nadir proves that, right? So you can actually do that kind of theory with Nadir, right? Still, but opening is a better going second card, even though it does discard a card, which is not ideal, right? So 2 Aluber also, if you guys see what we just did, 3 Fallen of the Virtuous, 2 Aluber. I do think that Fallen of the Virtuous is a 3 of in Branded. I said this before the card came out, and I'll say it again. Like, I think a couple weeks after I took it down to 1, because I was still testing the waters just to see, like, what it is best, but like, I think it's proven out in pure Branded Despia build that you want to run probably 3 of this guy, like maybe 2 to 3, but like, it's at least a 2 of, because you want one for your combo, and then you want one to set, or you want one to like set in the crackback. This card's absolutely the most, like, nearly as good as Branded Fusion, I think, in terms of like this card resolving sometimes, because this card can just flexibly just like be a bestial to your opponent. It can revive your Mirror Jade, right? It can revive your Ecclesia the Black Dragon. It can just pop a card while also extending you into whatever it is, sending Ecclesia the Black, or sending Titaniclad, right, to break a board, right, going second, because this can summon Albaz in the end phase. The fact that this can just... It works so well in your deck, because you can get to anything in your deck through just sending whatever you want, you know? And then just also being able to pop, like, it interacts so well into the meta, right? Like, obviously this is just like your best Herald out, being able to pop the Herald, which is one of your biggest issues. all things considered. And then also the flexibility of it being a quick play, just pop anything. You can pop floodgates, right? You never lose to floodgates anymore in branded. It's just like absolutely one of the most insane cards in the whole deck, and like I think the card is a 3 of for the most part going forward. Once again, could run 2, but card's absolutely nuts. And now like every deck is like dying to run that card at 3. You guys don't think it's a 3 of in branded? If every other deck is trying to run this card at 3? Like, come on. Come on. I don't think anyone genuinely believes that, right? Like, when every deck that can is running that card at 3, why would it not be a 3 of in branded? How comes you don't add Droll to your deck? I am siding Droll. I'm siding Droll on the deck list. I think I'm more worried about the Dracotal matchup, so I'm not trying to put in hand traps that are going to lose me the Dracotal matchup instantly when I draw that card going second against them. Without Max C in the TCG, I don't think like Droll's as good against Dracotal, because like Dracotal's obviously good if you get chummied, but like not so much elsewise. So we'll talk about fusion deployment as well, guys. We'll talk about some cards we're cutting actually. All right, so RTV, this card was in my last couple lists. This card's insane. Like, I'm not saying not to run this card, but Radiant Typhoon Vision is also a card that I'm not sure it has a place in hand trap branded, so I think that when I'm not, like, I'm only running like 13 spells, so and not all of them are quick plays. I mean, most of them are, but this is just not going to work, especially I don't want to draw hand traps, right? I'd rather draw breakers. So if I'm running a build with Super Poly or like Droplet, little less hand traps, I could see myself running this, and I will test builds running this. This card's just still insane. Being able to play around Droll, draw 2. But this card has no place in this build. And then Fusion Deployment. This card's... Where do I begin with this? I mean, we've talked about this before, but for the people that do not know, I think that Fusion Deployment is becoming a card that is getting cut unbranded because of the fact that it is a card that locks you for the whole turn, and you cannot... It's like Branded Fusion, right? So you're essentially running 3 more cards that have the Branded Fusion lock, and it's like, oh, didn't you just say that you can play around that, and that's just fine, like, having that? But it's like... I'm not saying not to run Fusion Deployment, but having a compounding, like, a ton of cards that say these conflict with each other do not particularly... when it's an extender, that's like the biggest caveat, right? Like, if this was a 1-card starter, like if we had an Aluber Contact Fuse in the extra deck, that would mean I could go Fusion Deployment, reveal Aluber. Well, I think I'd be cutting Branded Opening at that point, but I would run it, like I would be much more inclined to run it if this was a 1-card starter. It is not a 1-card starter. Branded has access to insane amounts of 1-card starters now because of Fall of the White. So this card ends up actually just being worse than Branded now, in my opinion. Now, people will still run it. People will do well with it. It's now just moved from mandatory to very good tech in Branded, okay? Can we... I hope that's as diplomatic as possible, because I love Fusion Deployment. Look at these alt arts. Like, they're fucking beautiful, right? Like... Absolutely one of the best arts they've ever made for Yugioh, right there. Like, Albaz's horror, the horror in Albaz's eyes, just crazy. But we are not running it in our branded build today. Deployment hot IMO, it's still good, but not necessary. Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. What's the combo with Nadir? It's going to be on my guide, but I think I can probably show it once we get to the combos. It is going to be a side deck card for me. I think Nadir is certainly worth it. So I only have 2 Branded and High Spirits, awkwardly enough. I will have to find my 3rd, but this is definitely being ran at 3. I think this card's absolutely a 3 of. Branded Retribution, Branded Lost. I'm not going to run Branded Lost without Lubellion, but hey, I might choose to run Lubellion over a Stellar in the end. I still think I need a Branded Fusion line. I'm not at the point where I'm not going to give myself a decent Branded Fusion line. Even though Branded Fusion in general just, like, still does a lot on its own in this kind of build, I still think I need, like, a decent Sunderite in order to make it worth it. So guys, you like my ulti nib and then this Grand Wignall. Y'all know the Grand Wignall token, but Starlight Grand Wignall token is like one of my favorites. Alright, so looking through some more cards now. But we've gone through all that. This is, oh yeah, so here's my other Branded High Spirits, got it. My Branded Banishment. I guess we could talk about Branded Banishment. I think Branded Banishment's a very good card in Branded, obviously, but it's also a card that also Talents is something we could run. I think Branded Banishment, unless you're running Lad, it's a little slow. I think now honestly, like, it's still going to be a card that people run for sure. I just think overall it's not for me at the moment in Branded. You know what? I'm going to put my Kit Spriggans in instead of my Spriggans kit. If you know, you know. Gold Sark, Foolish, I guess we could... Oh, yo, we got our first Ecclesia. There's my Drolls. Okay, let's get it. There's my third Cartesia. There's my Starlight Lulu, my Alba Lenatus, Stapelia. Lad we could talk about as well. Mud Dragon, just in case we run. Super Poly, I think Mud Dragon looks to be probably the best Super Poly target next format anyways. So if you're looking for, you know, generic Super Poly targets, I think Mud Dragon is probably something you want to run. I think obviously Garura is always very solid, but I think Mud Dragon is theoretically very good still into a lot of the top decks. But then like Secretarion ends up being like probably still the most super important one. How many hand traps are you on, Chris? I'm at 15. I am at 15 as well, plus 3 Fallen in the Virtuous. No, I'm at 17 because I'm running a Nibs as well. What's up, Shrang26? If you're enjoying the stream, drop a sub, help hit the goal. Don't forget to like. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Sonic Rage, how you doing, my king? Dracotal that strong? I think Dracotal is the worst matchup for Brandon because of Dracotal Flame and Secretarion Dragon. So you have to like over prepare, in my opinion. Like, if your deck already has a good matchup into a deck, why do you have to like main Silver Bullets for that deck, right? So I need to have more Silver Bullets for like Dracotal, in my opinion, at least. That Lulu looks nice. Oh my gosh, this is the Hexer Despianish Lulu Wall Lilith. It's my German Lulu. Y'all know I love my German Euro cards. So beautiful. I'm so glad this card's like good as fuck now too. I know some people haven't been running it recently, but I still believe in this card because every time I don't run it, I miss it. I think I was wrong to cut this actually in the past for the past couple years for Branded, to be honest. I think this card's absolutely insane. Got itchy nose. Greetings from Germany, by the way. Ayo. My man can actually read the German, my German cards, and like me, I'm a fake fan. Honestly, I don't see the point to run 2 Aluber but 3 opening, because now there are fewer normal summons, so we can normal summon Luber every time we see him. He's important as a dark, and we can also hard open Branded Fusion. I mean, it's good to summon. Opening's really good to summon like either a Luber in the end phase or like Queb in the end phase. I don't know. Like, I would admit it might not be the most ideal ratio. It's your boy's ratio, you know. I did not get that ratio from anyone else, but I do think it's probably fine for now. But fair point. Fair point. Luca Bar, can't wait for your 40-hour video. Aw, thank you. Started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With your video. I'm a huge fan from Italy. Yo, shout out to Italy. Italy is somewhere I need to go one day. I really hope to go to an Italian YCS one of these days. In Rome? Ayo? That sounds probably basic. But Rome is so beautiful. I love the history. Pure Branded conflicts with new Albaz because you want to sync around the first turn, making you choose between... You're not choosing between Branded Fusion and White Dragon, though, if you're getting hand trapped and you can use one side to bait the other. And if not, well, turns out we're going full combo anyway, and you have and you have follow-up, right? Like, in a deck full of 1-card starters where I'm running 20 non-engine, like, do you see how that logic works where it's like, okay, well now I'm not going to be, like, my hands are like a Luber, Fallen in the White, plus 3 hand traps. That's the most ideal hand I can draw in this deck, honestly. Or like a Breaker plus 2 hand traps, right? Plus 2 starters. I just heavily disagree in the fact that they conflict with each other, and like, it just, like, obviously on paper it does, but like, there's been so many instances where Fallen of the White Dragon has just like, the fact I have Fallen in the White Dragon just opened up my branded fusion to resolve without getting Ash Blossom, because once again, like I explained before, you might have just walked into the stream, it takes a while to get to Ecclesia of the Black Dragon, right? Like, by the time you get to Ecclesia of the Black Dragon, they got obviously Ash this, and that would be bad. But guess what? You're getting Ash on branded fusion. And guess what? Then you can use this on your opponent's turn. It's a better situation. So it's just like, but the fact is, there's been so many times where just like, you know, them interacting with my Fallen of the White Dragon means that like my branded fusion just rips through the board, right? Like, last card branded fusion is such a deadly thing, and like this helps you play into that playstyle. I think if you like, you just have to play with the deck more, and like you'll see it just, like, branded's such a freeform deck, so it might be hard to see it while you're playing it, but like you really don't. This is the best support it could have happened, and I don't think it conflicts at all. If you just like, if you sequence correctly with the deck. Like, in testing, I am not sure it's actually come up where the lock mattered. Honestly, like, I'm just trying to think. Like, the biggest negative was having a branded fusion stuck in my hand, and guess what? That meant next turn I had a guaranteed just punch in my opponent's throat, right? Like, branded fusion on turn 3, insane. And most of the time, if that branded fusion is in my hand, most of the time that meant I didn't get ashed on my Fallen of the White Dragon, right? I think it's stupid as hell to ash Ecclesia of the Black Dragon. I think, like, maybe I'm wrong about that, but like, and that might be harsh. I don't think you're stupid, but like, I think it's incredibly incorrect to ash the dragon, obviously. Like, because at that point you're like, okay, do you have Ecclesia in hand? And it's a 1-of most of the time, so as you're going against pure branded, maybe you could wait for Black Dragon, but like, the fact is if you ash the Black Dragon, then they just have it, or the Dark Dragon rather, they just have it on your turn, or their turn, so you still have to deal with it. So you just ash the Fallen of the White, and that means it opens it, like, it's perfect card design. Like, Konami, I think, knew what they were doing, so the moment they ashed the Fallen of the White Dragon, you're just like, okay, branded fusion, herder, right? And then you just win the game, right? That's why I think the branded fusion lines, running bricks that like accommodate branded fusion, are not as important, because yes, Fallen of the White is going to be your primary modus operandi now, but going second and through hand traps, branded fusion's still your best friend, right? Like, I also like more Aluber than opening. Honestly, I prefer the specials, guys. I'm gonna be real. Yeah, you get less normal summons, but running more than 4 normal summons in branded is already too much, right? Like, so I'm not trying to run more with the Alubers, in my opinion. I'm running 1 Quem, 2 Aluber, and then I guess the Stellar, but like, a Stellar, Quem, and Cartesia all have very easy access to special summons, so not having any more normals opens it up to, like, I've still drawn hands in this deck where I draw like 2 normals. I'm like, okay, I'm like, why am I playing branded in why am I playing branded pre-2026, right? Like, this is not what, like, in my opinion, getting rid of the normal issue is like that's why I'm not huge on Safer right now, because like, Safer still just adds normals to your deck. That's why I prefer opening over Safer. It's like, in my opinion, either opening or Safer, or like Nadir, I guess, but like, I think Nadir is probably better than Safer at this point. I do love Safer. Like, I'm not a Safer hater. I bought 3 secrets, but it's too many normals in my opinion. Italy is a must visit. I've been 2 times. I will go God knows how many more times. Yeah, my brother's been over there to Rome. It's definitely on the list. I need to go to Europe. I've never been to Europe. I'm a huge history buff, but so it's like one of those things that It would be great. Gotta look through more cards. Just been yapping. Yo, Phil, shout out to our girl Romarin. I'm on 2 safer, 2 Aluber, 1 opening, but I'm crazy. Yeah, I feel like that might be too many normals. Like, you just gotta test the deck more and more going second. Like, those test hands, in my opinion, you will, like, start seeing why, like, opening is, like, kind of nice, especially if you're running safer. I need to... Oh, yeah. Okay, so we got our... I did order this. Hey, yo. Your content is still rocking since branded existence. What's up, BJ Tova? How's it going, King? Thank you for the 3 months on Twitch Prime. Thank you. How you doing, King? How you doing? I need to get my alerts over here. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring my alerts over here. It wasn't actually. Thank you, BJ Toba. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. Alright, my alerts are now there, so we'll show up a visual if someone uses their Twitch Prime. If someone wants to test it out, there you go. But yeah, here's also my... Ordered this really nice, beautiful card. Look at that. I've been using a Stellar so much, I was like, I have to put my money where my mouth is. I just wanted the Ecclesia because it's cheap right now. And I wanted a high rarity OG Ecclesia. And come on, it's like PogChamp Ecclesia. I don't care if it's just a rip of a still from the anime, basically. It's PogChamp Ecclesia. No one told me Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a real game? Oh, like you just watched the anime and you didn't know it was a real card game? That's cute. I need to get another Dogma here to satiate Phil Dillon in the chat because we are now on to Dogma. There we go. I'm not like sold on 2 Dogma, I'll be real up front, but it's also... It's a very quality 15th card in the extra deck. No, you need at least 1 OG Albaz. Did someone ask about not running OG Albaz? Yeah, you have to run OG Albaz for Renbrum plays. And also making your Ecclesia board break. So important having the OG Albaz, because going second when you go Fallen of the White into Ecclesia, you are going to... I need to bust out my Ecclesia, by the way. This is my second Ecclesia. When you go OG Albaz into Ecclesia, you want to go... when you go Albaz into Ecclesia, you want to go into this guy off of Ecclesia going second instead of... You probably aren't making this card going second, by the way. It's very rare when you make this card going second. You want this card to be a card you send off of Fallen of the White Dragon, and then you do branded fusion plays going second a lot of the time. But then also, because of the fact that OG Ecclesia summons out... Ecclesia summons out OG Albaz, right? So, like, you need that play going second in order to make, like, Fallen of the White Dragon better going second card, in my opinion. Because if you go Fallen of the White Dragon, send Ecclesia the black, it's, like, insane, right? Like, if you have Fav or, like, High Spirits, because you're already forcing with Ecclesia a bounce, then you have Ecclesia into Albaz, and then you just, like... You're only, like, 1 or 2 cards in, so you have, like, branded fusion pushes or, like, branded and white and stuff like that. So, I'm a big fan of running the one. I think the 1 Albaz is probably mandatory in all the versions, frankly. Like, I don't know if I would run Draco Tal without 1 OG Albaz. Like, honestly. 1 Dogma is totally fine. I completely agree, Alex D, though. Like, I was saying this in the chat to someone. Someone asked me, like, what do you think of 2... How has 2 Dogma been? And honestly, it's just, like, fine. Like, it's nothing revolutionary. I just think it's, having 2 can be nice for the grind game. Like, it adds a lot of grind game just running 2. Where Thunderbolt? I think I suffocated her. I can't find her. It's somewhere around. Okay, yeah, here we go. This does belong in my side deck. But I think I'm running 1 on the side, so I put it with the rest of my side cards. What's up, Chiconium? What's up, Goat? So, I remember when I was siding Sanctum at one point for Thrust into Lancia. Oh, we've moved on from those times. Alright, so I gotta look through some more cards. But we're, like, basically getting there. Also, don't hate on me, but I'm on 1 Cartesia. I was also on 1 Cartesia. I understand it. I'm just, like... It's, like, my safety pick, like... I don't like my Cartesia being banished, and then, like, half my grind game is dead. Oh, we need our nibs as well. Good. Dissipator Omega. I'll take it out just to do some like hand rip combos maybe, if I remember to. Do we want Philia Regis? No, unfortunately. Oh, we do have a Tude though. Mask, Mag, some Saferts. I have so many Dogmas. I have to go to Japan before any other country. That's also a country I need to go to, is Japan. I think Japan and Italy are probably on the top of that list. Also Poland, but that's because I'm Polish and Italian. Yes, it's a great card. I've been on it a few times, but at the moment builds are constantly changing since we don't have the cards yet. Is there any world where you would play 3 Incredible Ecclesia as the normal? Yeah, I think Incredible Ecclesia is a really good card because it's most of the time a special summon, right? Half the time. So this like gets around the fact this becomes like a not a normal summon half the time. So I think this card's actually incredible at 2 or 3. Do you think of Etude going first against Dragotal? Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm back and forth with Lubellion. It's not like I'm guaranteed not running Lubellion. Like, still run... all things considered, I'd probably say run Lubellion over a Stellar at the moment. But, like, I think a Stellar is... I don't know. Like, Branded Lost was, like, bricking me a lot of games. So I'm fine with a Stellar at the moment. But yeah, Tude's insane against Dracotel. Absolutely nuts card. If you play a Stellar, then it's okay. I'm fine with 3 Luber. What happened to the 38-hour guide? I had to fix some editing. Can you upload the session on YouTube after? Yep, I will. Dracotal is the best deck in the OCG with the support. Yeah, I mean, it definitely like helps Dracotal a lot, but it's not like... I think it's still a glorified Cartesia engine. Like, Dracotal is not the best deck in the OCG because of the support. Well, it basically is, but it would be the best deck in the OCG if Ketchu was still at 3, you know? Yo, what's up, Jake the Mountain Goat? Japan is nuts. Yeah, I know, like, community member Jess Hall. I don't know if Jess is here today, but they just went to Japan too, which is pretty cool. You've been to Japan, Alex T? Yeah, I know. Coming to Spain and Barcelona, we have a big branded community. Hell yeah, Morayans. I know I just butchered your name, so I apologize, but... Spain also absolutely beautiful country. So definitely on my list. Any like historical country I'm a sucker for. I got my Simo signed Gold Sark, by the way. Shout out to Simo. Hope he gets well. Fallen in the Virtuous. What am I looking for here at this point? I think I'm just looking for some of my stragglers, basically. And also my music just stopped. 43 cards in this main deck. Just about. There's still some additions I'm going to be making, like, back and forth, though, for the current list we have on the playmat. Got my beautiful Dracotel engine. Euro Dracotel engine. We'll get back to Dracotel branded at some point, but unless I'm running the hand trap version, I'm not running Dracotel branded. And I don't want to run the hand trap version. I guess we could also take a cross out just in case. Also Proskinion. The Veilers, we are running a Veiler. We need our ghost spells now. That's what I was looking for, ghost spell still. Could run the Gamma, but I don't know. I also like... I've tested with Gamma before and it sucks so hard to draw the driver, dude. It feels like you lose the game on the spot. Got a lot of my Genesis cards here. Oh, there's my ghost spells. There we go. And my Bestials, oh boy. My German Saferts. The Shadol engine. Golden Sword Soul if we wanted to. Chaos Angel. And the last Nadir. There we go. There they all are. They just happen to be at literally the end of everything I was searching for, of course. Proskinion is still good if you're only running one Dogma. Why if you're only running one Dogma? Like, what's the correlation between not running 2 and running Proskinion? I think you mean because you just have the space, but like, it's kind of, those are different slots though.